President Broussard, everybody is back online.
Okay, thank you. So we were at the point in the process where we're going to entertain a motion to uphold the proposed suspension as set forth in notice of status change dated May 2nd. Do we have any more questions, concerns, comments, or did someone like to propose the motion?
President Broussard, Dan Schiffer here. I so move to uphold the suspension.
Do I have a second? You have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Covella. So we'll have a moment to make comments or questions. Anybody have a comment or a question from the commission? Go ahead, Commissioner Covella.
Thank you, President Broussard. Appreciate it. I feel this is a bit severe, and yet in light of the way the rules are, we don't really have the ability to lessen the suspension or anything like that. We've had, amongst 1,600 and some inspections, we've had over 100 or some suspensions, and I don't like the fact that we have to do any of them, but we do have to uphold the integrity of the system. And I think it's unfortunate that as we go through these changes, that sometimes people get maybe caught a little bit in the changes. But I'm afraid for the integrity of the system, it's important that we uphold this. And I hate that we have to, but I'm going to vote in favor.
Thank you. Commissioner Schiffer.
Thank you, President Broussard. Excuse me. I was troubled by the delay in the change of the form that represents the movement of the horse. But when Ms. Carden testified that she didn't really rely on that, she was just more looking for the mercy of the court. I feel that she really didn't have a leg to stand on based on that notice. And so I'm going to have to vote to uphold the suspension. Thank you.
I have a quick question. In regards to the notice of rule change emails, Nick, how many was that a single email or multiple emails? Can you refresh my memory?
President Broussard, it was multiple emails. The October one was just the last one that we had sent out.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Do we have any other questions to council or to Nick? Not seeing any, we'll do a roll call vote. Nick on vote. The horse votes something.
President Broussard, the roll call vote. Commissioner Cura.
Yes.
Commissioner Rithaller.
Yes.
Commissioner Schiffer.
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco.
Yes.
Vice President Covello.
Yes.
President Broussard.
Yes. The suspension.
Broussard, that's 6 yes, 3 absent.
Okay, so we will uphold the suspension and we will move to item 3, Charlie, which is a request for an appeal, Eugene Joyce Flying Layla, docket number 24-0061, Wyoming bred suspension. And we will find that. All right, at this moment, all persons who are offering testimony, could you please rise? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the matter now before the commission, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
I do.
Inspector Warren, would you like to have an opening statement or move directly into the presentation?
President Broussard, members of the commission, I would like to waive an opening statement and move directly into the presentation.
Thank you. Mr. Joyce, would you like to have an opening statement or move directly into the presentation of your argument for appeal?
Oh, yeah, brother.
Oh, careful.
First of all, I want to tell you how thrilled I am. Of all the jurisdictions and racing commissions I've served under, to finally have been sanctioned and be in an appeal hearing in front of the commission. I want to tell you it's a first for me, and I thank you for this opportunity. After the last case, Candace's case, I'm pretty sure I know where this is going. However, I would like to bring up some things for the commission to consider. First of all, the intent clearly of this program is to keep horses domiciled in Wyoming. And quite frankly, looking at this, and again, I should have looked at it 18 months ago or whenever we were looking at this, but the crime does, the punishment does not fit the crime. A 2-year suspension of a horse is literally tens of thousands of dollars to the owner. And I don't know of any other rule or law that we have where if you fail to fill out paperwork, you get suspended for 2 years. In other violations, there is a graduated scale. First offense, second offense, third offense. There's none of this here. It's like the death sentence for 2 years. And I would implore the commission to have this on this subject to be on our next meeting, because there needs to be some balance here, because it's unjust, it's unfair. I've talked to over a half dozen people that are disgusted with their suspension, and they're just not going to be in the program any longer. And that's not what is intended by the Wyoming Bred program. Now, if it's about wasting the time of the investigators, shouldn't there be? I'll take a monetary fine. I'll pay for their travel, whatever that is. First offense. The other thing in the courts, you have what you call a plea in abeyance. In other words, yeah, I'm guilty, I'm sorry, but the suspension or the sentence is suspended if you don't have any more violations for the next year or so. So there's a lot of tools I think we can put back into this rule to make it fair for people and to live up to the intent of the Wyoming Bred program. And I will say Commissioner Rithall had a good question. How many people have filled out correctly the in-state travel things? And again, for years now, I've been shipping mares out of state to Kentucky, and we've always filled that out. And my partner Corey Johnson, and you're talking about dozens of mares, and given proper notice. Just real quickly, what happened with this mare was it was a first-time foaler. I had it over with Matt and Ashby Galloway in Cheyenne, and Ashby and I go way back. I've foaled horses out with her and her father in Evanston, for years, back in my early 30s. But she was worried that we might have problems that she couldn't handle with this mare because it was a first-time foaler. And so she wanted to ship it up to Kate Anderson, 24 miles away, still within Laramie County, because they had a vet tech there and she had more experience. So, we shipped it over. I wasn't thinking, which Director Moore can tell you is a common problem with me, but and we didn't fill that out. And so the mare was there early April and foaled, I think April 20th, 24th, and then the inspector was there May 1st. So again, I'm not going to waste the commission's time. I know where we're going. I know your hands are tied on this, okay? But I implore you to put this subject out for further discussion in front of the commission, because we are driving people out of the program, and that's not the intent. And again, the punishment does not fit the crime. I mean, a 2-year suspension is just, to me, is just insane. But anyway, that's it. I'll stand for questions, Mr. President, if anybody has any.
So we'll get to questions in a second. Thank you, Eugene. And, you know, we all feel for you. But I'm fairly certain that you were in the process early days also. I mean, are you saying that you did not know the change?
Well, here's the thing. It's not like we picked this out and let's focus on this one thing for it. We were changing rules left and right. I mean, I am not a good multitasker. Okay, so I apologize, but I guarantee you this slipped by a lot of people. So, you know, hey, you got our attention now. There's nothing to say we can't go back and revisit it. So
You're right. For today's purposes, though, we'll move forward. And Inspector Warren, is there any additional evidence you'd like to submit for the record?
No additional documented evidence.
Okay, we have Exhibit AA, your incident report, Exhibit BB, notice of status change, Exhibit CC, revised notice of status change, and Exhibit DD, notice of rule change. So Inspector Warren, if you'd like to present your case, you can do so at this time.
Thank you, President Broussard, members of the commission. On May 2nd, I was doing broodmare checks in Area 13, that's a Cheyenne area. And I went to domicile location of 4521 Reese Road in Cheyenne to check flying Wyoming bred horse truck Flying Layla. While I was there, I spoke to Ashby McKella. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But she told me that Flying Layla moved to Kate Anderson's place, which is 2304 County Road 226 in Cheyenne, Wyoming, a few weeks ago to get bred. She said she didn't know that she had to do a transport notice because I asked her if she did a transport notice on Flying Layla. She said she didn't know she had to because Flying Layla was still in the same county. On May 7th, I came back to the Wyoming Gaming Commission office to check transport notifications to see if there was a previous transport notification sent to us on Flying Layla, and there was not. So I sent out a suspension letter that I had a typographical error on the date. So I sent out another one with a corrected revised copy of the suspension letter.
Thank you. Mr. Joyce, do you have any questions for Inspector Warren?
I don't have a question, just a clarification on his report. We shipped the horse out for foaling reasons, but we kept her there because we were going to breed her back to a stallion at Golden Creek. So I just wanted to balance out what my statement was and what Ashby's statement was to the investigator.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you guys have any questions for Inspector Warren?
I have none.
No hands. All right. Mr. Joyce, do you have any additional evidence you'd like to submit to the record? We have a letter dated May 17th, 2024. That's Exhibit A. Do you have anything else you'd like to introduce?
No.
Okay. Well, you kind of presented your case, but at this point, if you'd like Mr. Joyce to present your case, this is the time to do it. Or if you have anything further to add?
No, look, it was a clear violation of the written rule. However, as someone noted before, you know, I don't think there was anything nefarious going on. I think, you know, I mean, there's no advantage to shipping a horse 24 miles away. I mean, you know, we're trying to sneak the horse out of the state into the state. It was you know, a sin of omission. And we would like to throw ourselves on the mercy of the court. However, I kind of have a feeling I know where this is going. So, but again, can we get this topic out in front of everybody for discussion? So, thanks.
Thanks, Eugene.
Thank you. Okay. Inspector Warren, do you have any questions of Mr. Joyce?
President Broussard, I do not.
All right, move on. Commissioners, do you guys have questions for Mr. Joyce before we move on?
I have none.
Thank you. All right, it's been your show, Mr. Eugene. If you'd like to make a closing statement, this is it.
No, I tell you what though, I'm glad to see we're having hearings. This is fun. This is democracy in action, getting to plead your case to the full commission. And I thank you for your time today, commissioners.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eugene.
Yeah, so we're working on this topic today. There's a bigger question maybe for tomorrow. And we all feel for the horse owners who maybe were so busy they missed the notices. But in the big picture, we have to have some organizational structure, and that's what we're working on. So at this point, Inspector Warren, if you'd like to make a closing statement, you could do it now.
Thank you, President Broussard, members of the commission. Based on the evidence presented today, it's clear that Mr. Joyce moved his horse without proper notification to the Wyoming Gaming Commission office. And it's in violation of Wyoming Gaming administrative rules. I would ask that you uphold the suspension.
Thank you. All right, so at this point in the hearing, we entertain a motion to uphold the proposed suspension as set forth in the notice of status change dated May 2nd.
Mr. President, I so move we uphold the suspension.
Thank you, Commissioner Curra. Do I have a second?
Mr. President, I second Dan Schiffer.
Thank you, Dan. We'll open it up for questions or comments regarding the motion. Any questions or comments regarding the motion? Not seeing any, we'll call the roll call vote.
President Broussard, Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Curra,
Yes.
Commissioner Rithaler,
Yes.
Commissioner Schiffer,
Yes.
Vice President Cabello,
Yes.
President Broussard.
Yes.
President Broussard, that's 6 yes, 3 absent.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Eugene. We'll see you at a better day.
Okay.
All right, so at this point, Commission, if there's no other business, we'll adjourn the meeting. Anyone has anything to add or? All right, we will see you guys at the next meeting. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you for your time, guys. Thank you for all your time.
Thank you.